Hello, creative stampers. How are you? I have another scrap paper tutorial for you. Today I am doing cards and circle punches. So I'm taking my scrap paper with a bunch of different size circle punches and I'm making some fun cards with them. So I'd like you to join along with me and let's go over to the craft table. All right. So I have some circle punches here, 1.5, 1/2, all kinds of sizes, however many sizes you can. And our very first one that we're going to do is I'm going to make some flowers. So I have my card base here and we're going to do a landscape style. And I've got some circle punches here already. I've got them cut out in different sizes. So I have the blue one here. And then what I've done is I've just taken different the back and the front of the paper here so that it's kind of different, and I'll use dimensional so that it pops up a little more. And I'm going to put these on here and I'm going to start. I think I'll put the blue over here, and let's see, I've got all kinds here. I've got the yellow one. Let's do a yellow one and a calypso coral one. Yep, come here. Oh, they don't pick up very easily. And we can put those next to each other like that and put this on top. And so I can use, either side. This one, the other side of this one. Let's see what it looks like. It's striped, so I think I'll stay with that. And I do like that plaid. That's fun. All right, so we have that. Then I have some littler ones here. So, and then I used, at first I punched out the cardstock, but it was so little, it really got lost. And I thought, oh, let's just use some cardstock. Maybe it'll pop out better. And I think it does. And we can put that one there. And then we'll do a yellow one. And we can put that one there. Let's see. And then another calypso coral one. Here we go. And trying to keep them all different. There we go. That looks good. All right. So I've got these circles here. Now what I'm thinking, so I kind of already know what's in my head here. We're going to turn these into flowers. So I'm going to need some green scrap paper to make stems and leaves. So let me get that out. So take my little circle punch here, my 1-incher. And then what I'm doing is I'm just folding that in half, but I'm cutting it down. There we go. So that it looks more like a leaf instead of a circle. And then when you open it up, you have yourself a little leaf there. So that's what we're going to create. We're going to create 6 of those. I have my leaves and my stems cut out. It is time to put this together. And I'm going to put the flowers on as I put the stems on. So for the overlapping, I don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to glue the larger one down flat, and then I will pop up the inside with the dimensional. Oh, I don't know. I kind of like that polka dot. I think I'm going to go with that polka dot. There we go. And they don't have to be exactly in the center. They can kind of be off to the side like this if you'd rather. I'm going to be kind of off, not too much off though. All right, so there's my first one. And let's go ahead and put a leaf on there too. All right, let me trim these stems off, and then we just need a sentiment. I'll show you how I do that. And we are done with this fun circle scrap card. So we're making flowers with our circle scraps. Isn't that fun? I love that. All right, we're just going to put a sentiment right here. Have you seen the charming sentiments? They have all these great sentiments, but then what's really awesome is they have dies that cut each one out, plus some little fun little design things too. All right, so let's pick a sentiment for this card, and I think we might go with the congratulations. I like to have a long, skinny one, and this is pretty long and skinny, so get that out. There we go. And then find the die that matches it. It shouldn't be too hard. It's nice, long, and skinny. There we go. And it must, I guess it's this one. I'm not sure. Congratulations. Let's see. Yes. All right. So you can barely tell, but where the C and the O are, there's a little cut. So this cuts it right along the edge of the letters. It goes in between the L and the A and the R and the A there. Very precise, fancy cutting there. All right, let me put that on there. And you will want to use some low tack tape, some washi tape to hold it in place. You don't want that to move. Oh, that looks great. Okay, now we definitely need some teeny tiny dimensionals here. And I'll need my tweezers. Here we go. Ooh, and that just barely fits on there. Okay. And one last thing is to place it on the card base. Now, the card base, we could make it a different color if you wanted a frame, but I kind of like the white on white, but I will lift it up. So get my other dimensionals out. Do you keep your scraps of the edges of the dimensionals? And I like to take the top off and leave it on the main part here so that it doesn't twist when I put it down. Okay. So I've got that piece. And then let me find another one. I've got them everywhere. Here we go. This one. Let me snip. Okay. And then, like I said, I like to take the top off. Well, if I could get my fingernail under there. There we go. Okay. And oh, fiddle-dee-dee. I stuck. Oh, goodness. Okay, there we go. Having difficulties here. There we go. Oh, isn't that awesome? All right, so there is our first card made with the circle punches and scrap paper. I hope you liked this one. It's pretty simple. Our second card that we're going to make, we're going to use a whole bunch of 1-inch circles, and we're going to use them in a kind of rainbow order. It's not a perfect rainbow, but we're going to pull these purple ones down. We have the blue, the green. Let me separate them. Kind of an orangey and then kind of a pink. All right, there we go. So I have Gorgeous Grape, and I have Granny Apple Green, and I have Bermuda Bay, Mango Melody, and Flirty Flamingo. There we go. And what we're going to do, and we've cut our base down again. This is our layer to put on our base at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And these are 1-inch circles. So the first layer, and what we're going to do is make scales, okay, like fish scales, but in a rainbow order. And we're going to start with 4 of them along the bottom. It's helpful to have grid paper to kind of stay straight. You don't have to, though, but it's just helpful. And because, like I said, these are 1-inch circles, they're going to fit perfectly across. So you don't really have to worry too much about centering or anything. at least not on the first row. All right. So we have 4 1-inch circles, and I want some white at the bottom. So I'm going to start up here at about the 1-inch. All right. You can see when you use grid paper, you can kind of keep yourself lined up. And if you have a circle punch that kind of has a little bit of scruffed edge like that, I don't know if you can really see that. The punch, I punched it so close to the edge of the paper, didn't quite get there, but that's okay because I can cover that up with the next layer. Like I said, these are going to be like fish scales. So right up next to it. Okay. Oops. And there we go. And then the last one. Now, the next layer, you're going to go in between each circle. And so you have 5. 2 on both ends will stick off the edge and you'll have to trim them. But that way you'll get that layered look. And we're going with the Bermuda Bay with the plaid side. Okay. And now this time I'm starting in the center. All right. And you want to go about to where these 2 circles are meeting. You want to overlap right there. Okay. And just finish going in between and bump them up next to each other. Now, if you want your the plaid lines to stay straight, you can do that, or you could twist them either way. And then this side. Now, here's another one where I cut it so close to the edge it didn't quite get. And I am going to layer that there. Now, these last 2, whoops, careful. These last 2 on the edge, you want to make sure if you're not worried about your work surface, but remember, you only need glue in these 2 areas. So I'm just going to put a little glue there and a little glue there. And then take my circles and bump them up next to where it's going to go. Okay. And then this side. Oops. There we go. All right. Now the next color lines up in between each of the blue. And so you only need 4 of the next color. And we're just going to keep going back and forth. All right. So we're going to, okay, now that you have all of your circles glued down, it is ready to trim. And we'll just need a trimmer. We're going to trim it straight across the edge here. All right. So you can either line it up in your trimmer. Yeah, I think that's the best way. Now, I noticed that my orange scales, the Mango Melody scales, didn't quite line up perfectly, but that's okay. That's okay. See how it looks when we trim it off. Oh, perfect. Okay, and then you can just turn it over and get these pieces off. Now that you have this all trimmed, we're ready to create the rest of the card. I'm bringing in a card that opens 11 by 4 1/4. I'm going to be tying twine around to kind of be a nice divider from the scales to the card. It kind of gives it a clean transition. I have some baker's twine here that I think will match well. Just kind of whatever you have in your stash. And I'm going to make sure I have enough to tie the bow here. All right. And then I'm going to wrap it, I don't know, a few times. Let me hold that in place and just go 1, 2, 3. That should do good. And now just tie this. Oh, and I'm so excited. We got self-clamping tweezers in the catalog. So if you haven't seen these are in the embossing kit. And look at that. They hold perfectly. So just hold that for you while you tie your bow. Yay. All right. So that kind of gives a nice transition between the scales and the card itself. I like that. We just need a sentiment up here and we are done. Okay, once again, I'm using this Charming Sentiments, and I like wishing you everything wonderful. It's a nice big stamp. It'll cover up a lot of this blank space up here. And instead of the black, I think I'm going to go with a color. But I also need a nice firm foam pad. When you use photopolymer stamps, there's no give. And when it's that large, you want to make sure you get everything stamped. So we put the Bermuda Bay on there with that blue twine. We can pull in, I don't know, the Calypso Coral is pretty, the purple, or stay with the Bermuda Bay. I might stay with the Bermuda Bay. Actually, I saw Coastal Cabana. That might work. Let's see what happens. Perfect. I love it. Okay, so wishing you everything wonderful. Okay, for my last card, I have 1-inch circles again. This time I don't have a layer. This one we're just going to put straight on the card base, and we're going to do a 9 patch. However, I do have one special piece that will kind of give this a little extra. So we have our 3 circles like this. We're going to, like I said, we're doing a 9 patch. Except I only have 8 circles. We're going to put something special right there. And we're actually going to lift these up because we're going to put our sentiment at the bottom. So you want to get them all lined up where you want them. Okay. And I'm using the Best Butterflies scrap paper. I used this on the strips last time for the paper scrap strips. And I still have a lot of scrap paper left from this set, and so I decided to use this one. And we're just going to attach all these circles, but we are putting them up on dimensionals. So get out your dimensionals, and I like starting with the middle one, and that way I kind of stay balanced as much as I can. Once you have all your circles on here, oh, and I wanted to point out, noticed this one, when I punched it out, I tried to fussy cut. I tried to get it so that the butterfly was right in the center, so you could tell that it was a butterfly. Other than that, the rest of them are just kind of randomly punched out. We do have this last blank space, and instead of putting a circle there, I thought, well, this is Best Butterflies, so why not take a butterfly and stick it there? And I thought that would make it a little more interesting than just circles. So put this on here, but I want to get my mini dimensionals, these large ones. That way the wings will pop up. They won't lie flat. And I'll put one at the head and one at the tail. There we go. Yeah, now the little wings will poke up. So that's fun. And then the last thing we need to do is put our sentiment here, and we are done with this last card. And since I'm using the Best Butterflies, I love this sending good vibes. I think it's my favorite sentiment. And just get that out. And I think I'm going to go with Night of Navy for the color. There's only a little bit of Night of Navy, but there's enough. Oh, and once again, I want to have this lie flat on some foam, a foam mat, so I get a good stamped impression. All right, and just put that right there. Perfect. Sending good vibes. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed these 3 different cards using circle punches. So the first one we made, we used different size circles and made some flowers, and then just cut some leaves, took the circles, folded them in half, and kind of trimmed them so they looked like leaves. And then this one, we took a whole bunch of circles and created scales. So that was fun. And then finally, this last one, we just did a 9 patch, but we exchanged one of the circles for a shape. And in this case, a butterfly. So, all right. Can't wait to see what you guys create. Thanks for watching.